I am an archangel, archangel of relationship and love. Beloved children of Allah, here as everywhere on this earth at any time and anywhere, I address you as a spokesman for the group of archangels. Receive the blessing of my radiance, like me I welcome your radiance of love. Silence, by my presence in you, disclosed or that is revealed, I come easier it should be so in the reunion in you, between the ephemeral and the eternal. I come for the gift of grace, the spirit of the Son and the choir of angels, consummating what must be accomplished in his conscience, in his soul or his spirit. The fire igniter of truth, the baptism of the complete Holy Spirit, who plays you are and that arouses what should be. I come by my words, my presence and my silence, resound in you, the corner of the resurrection. As Archangel Uriel said, I come to sing in her inner dance, that a free and liberated life, the corner of ecstasy and contentment. So together, this time as at all times, and this place as everywhere, I desvendo in you, the principial and source of sources, which makes exalt the power of unfailing love and eternal. Thus, placed here as elsewhere, I open in you, announcing the resurrection of trumpets in the corner of liberty, lighting the flame that can never be extinguished, that is vivified by herself in the fire igniter of his divinity. I address personally to each of you, not to the person who listens, but one who hears, and my words, this corner of the resurrection. By the time the final shakeout is to end the game humbug, I desvendo in you, the merger of the structures named existence, at the midpoint of his heart, heart love, love heart. So I tell you, listen, listen, see and realize the ultimate reality, in every person, of every game and every appearance, to cease the simulacra of love, to live true love, such a fire that quenches and unquenchable. I place in your heart, the altar of Christ and the altar of truth. I put in each of you, the alliance of the elements, the alliance of fire, the covenant of love, respect their freedom, in respect of his presence. Well beyond the spoken words and beyond all comprehension, I address to you. At the moment it is finished in the temple inside and everything is revealed in the silence of happiness in you, in this moment and every moment for eternity, the corner of resurrection awakened in his steps as in his head, which calls into alliance heaven and earth, the fusion of ethers. I harbor to their conscience the truth of your being, that leaves more room for the slightest doubt, for the minimum expected for the minimum order. This gift of grace, and sent the source, I open the doors of the resurrection, which paves the way for the one who was, is and will be. I unlock their way, so that no attachment may exist at the time of the call. So on this day, I call you to surrender the weapons of war, weapons of doubt, the person weapons, so that Christ can coat them with his robe of eternity with his burning sun of splendor of the revealed sun on the surface of this world, such a light that shines for itself, at the end of this cycle, which concludes these days, trials, doubts and wanderings of each of you. In his eternal heart, I drive the grace and eternal blessing of life and love. So I tell you, as was said 2000 years ago, get up and walk. Elevate yourself, here and now, above the conditions and limitations, which gives you to discover, in addition to games of consciousness, the truth and perhaps you have searched for or held. I come to radiate in every heart, the gift of everlasting grace. The corner of heaven and earth, which appears in multiple places this earth, points out to you, the time of the call and its response, which burns, so the last residues of the opaque and shady link to confinement in their condition this body of flesh. I've been watching them in the ascension of the flesh and of his consciousness in which everything is freedom of choice as position. I've been getting him drunk with perfumes of grace choir of angels. The blazing sun, I place in you, Michael's work, not solely in its skies, but in his heart. I draw, so in your heart, the way of lightness, the path of truth, traced in his eternity from its source to not have any purpose and any source. Note and live without attachments and without regrets, without fear and without apprehension, the majesty of life. So we share here and everywhere elsewhere in this moment and every moment, the heart ascension, which you will soon, freedom of movement, of life, of time and space, the condition of being fully present not to its history, but the certainty of rock than you are, what you are and what you will, so that you know and live that there is nothing to wait or to wait in the ephemeral of this world, and that the only freedom it comes from your heart and love you are. By raising, you, the cardinal cross of the four ethers, realize, in any image, any energy, the truth and the beauty of life. To you, seed star, it's time to let you see the star you are, out of bounds anyway, the whole game and the whole story. To invite you to put on the rock of unchanging love, awakening in you. What do you think, still sleeping? I invite you, in the space in which no fear can be supposed nor even evoked, which it allows you to dance in the heart of eternity, in the heart of life. In this earth time the doors open, not solely his, but those present on earth, which favors the host of heaven and the spirit to the earth's crystalline core, as in his eternal core, which accompanies, thus the delivery and release of the earth. Thus, his eyes unveil themselves, which leaves more room for the straw or the lock, which gives you a clear view of his truth, the truth of each, the truth of life and love in action and manifestation, which leads to where there is no effort or thought or desire or aspiration, where everything is perfect and where everything is perfection. Coated his body of glory, you are, then, the flagship, not the light, but the free love and freed from all obstacles, which consumes each loop on the nature of that body and not the nature of a story, which puts order, so the last compartmentalization decided a long time ago and for which you have not been consulted, which shows you, so the path of forgiveness that his heart gives each and every structure, as every mistake or every diversion path, either yours or that of another matters little, because all is one. It is time, now, to live it, in a lucid and humble way. So every one of you, today, live your reconnection to the source of life in this world, in the crystalline core of Sirius, which illuminates the temple of your eternity, which is clear, and that is to wipe the whole logic of this world, and replaces the logic of the one and the one law, flooding every corner of this body you inhabit, in order to elevate you the fire of love in his ascension heart that lights up, then, visibly, your body ascension, such a language fire placed on your head and in your heart. What makes you forget all the pain that dissolves the balm of love and the balm of truth? You, wherever you are, remember what you are beyond all appearance, all forms and all imposition. Thus, by offering himself, to his own freedom, you rediscovers life ether, in which nothing is diverted, in which nothing is hidden. In the spirit of the sun, the angel's choir sings in you, the truth of the angel, the truth of silence, which leads to divest themselves of all that obstructs and obscures, which then becomes the rock of his presence and the temple of his presence, which makes burn anything that can stop all that may oppose, in you and in each brother, human or non-human, in any story whatsoever. The same freedom offers up thus each space where there is no more and no first nor last, because everything is solved and everything is revealed. The sky joins the earth and the earth joins the sky, on earth and in your sky the same way and with the same evidence, the same freedom of symphony in which each brings his note, so different and, however, as identical, there where all is one. So I bless your calls, this tongue of fire that rose above his head and over his heart. A beloved, wake up. Whatever game you have played and you play, see, clearly, your embryo atom, see clearly the diamond facets of your heart and open definitely the resurrection door that is there. I invite you and I invite me to the celebration. Note, even when my words are turned off, the inexpressible of their condition, which does not depend upon any condition of this world or any restriction of that dimension in which you have this in standing. Open your arms to welcome the one who comes, as each of his brothers and sisters that are human or non-human, the same flame, the same forgiveness, the same truth. Let shine in his ephemeral face of this world, the brightness of him who is there, so that nothing can stop or restrain you. Silence, it is finished in heaven and on earth, because the junction is performed, which allows the heart of a rise in each of you. I place in you, my presence and my radiance. I salute in you your rise from the grave, I salute in you, which was reborn, I salute in you, the principle of consciousness una source in every dimension. You, here as elsewhere, I address you in the language of the word, the fire language to tell you this. Silence, Son of a risen Christ, in humility this perishable and corruptible flesh, you show yourself in the incorruptibility of the Spirit, that forged the indestructible and unconditioned love. In the true Word, who does not suffer any discussion and any questions, Let your heart open in that space, in which no past this world can achieve it and in which no corruptible flesh can decrease it. Such is the promise of heaven, in which no hell and no heaven are present, because only the beauty inhabits it, in every dimension in all eternal way and formlessness. I draw on you, the grooves of eternity. Silence. So the Word became flesh and his flesh becomes Word, who transmutes herself in the fullness of existence of ether body and its atom embryo the same way. So, here as elsewhere, regardless of any time, the resurrection is revealed, perceived in you and looking for you, so no one can ignore. The one who comes to speak to them in their intimacy, and calls them the happiness of the 3 days and 3 nights, so there is never more nights or alternation. In full and whole ether of unified heaven, I give much more than my peace. Note, accept and acquiesce. Silence. At that moment the very words carried by the Word no longer make sense, replaced by the one in every direction, in every part of the earth is in every direction and every portion of their meat, and prepare yourselves as your consciousness to one who is Queen of heaven and earth. Silence. So is consumed perishes, this final and primary alchemy of his resurrection. The time of trials, errors and wanderings, whether they are in you or in society in this world, have no place to be, consumed by the same flame of love that rises from the earth and reaches down from heaven in his heart. Silence, and the rhythm of our silence, it grows without limit and without end. The very breath of his breathing becomes word of love. Realize it. Silence, here, immediately, and elsewhere all the time, whatever the consummate time, which puts an end to time itself. So I tell him the voice of the archangels in one voice, the same fire, the same word, the same love. Silence, put yourself, so in love. Let the word of resurrection sing in you, the singing of liberation. In his throbbing, vibrant and warmer heart, the senselessness joy is his only object and its magnificence. By the word of Christ and in the presence of his word, which shares himself and each with the same elegance and the same accuracy, recul homo us, here and everywhere, this prayer of silent heart, which finds and that has nothing more to ask for than to be there, despite all appearance, despite all suffering, that amplifies the joy without common measure with the ephemeral joys of their life or their lives in this world. Note and live. Silence, my word who is no other than his word, like that of Mary, Christ and Michael, as every voice which rises in the multitude of free worlds. We are one, we are love, we are peace, we are the blessing and it is blessed. Silence, open up. The time has come to flower and deposit the perfume of eternal rose in every look, every step, every suffering, applying thus the subtle balm corner of life and the truth of love. His word and my word is the same in any accent and in any language, whether the tongue of angels or the language of man, is the language of the source, there is the same symphony and the same harmony. Listen, hear, see, perceive and live the sacred love. Because there can be no hesitation or prevarication, there, where there is only evidence and lightness. Listen to the fire devouring his heart, the fire of love. Let me bless you, as each of you bless each other and each life without distinction in the same manner and the same evidence. Note the new life, the true life in which nothing holds, in which nothing limits. So the Spirit blows, so is the word. In this space in which every word goes out, and leaves only the oath of evidence and the promise, listen to my silence, listen to his word. They are the symphony of love. You, here and everywhere, the baptism of the Spirit is on the threshold of your heart. Be present to yourself, is present for each. Strengthen in the faith of love and true love. Silence, in this joy of fire ends of consuming it does not belong to the truth and beauty. Silence, I am an archangel, archangel of love and relationship, and I leave you alone, in the space where you are never alone, because everything is there. I bless your presence, you, reborn again. I give you the peace of Christ and I welcome each of you in your eternity address. I bless you and I greet you, in love and true. Silence,